Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to unlocking endless opportunities for professional growth and success. GSDC is an independent, vendor-neutral, international credentialing and certification organization for professionals. For over 5 years, we have certified the skills of over 100,000 professionals across EMEA, LATAM, APAC, and North America regions. We offer certification in learning and development, human resources, quality assurance, ISO and Six Sigma, emerging technologies, DevOps, SRE, Agile and Scrum, project management. GSDC is proudly accredited with ANSI and ABICB. We have global presence with offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore, and a strong network of over 50 global accredited training organizations.
But how do these certifications contribute to your career growth? GSDC certifications are globally recognized and trusted by many multinational organizations. Our certifications validate your skills and demonstrate your commitment to professional development. GSDC is collaborating with 500+ SMEs, advisors, and global experts to curate and share best practices with individuals. We validate those skills via experts-curated certification exams. Additionally to that, we also regularly conduct webinars, knowledge-sharing sessions, and various complementary learning initiatives to keep learners updated on the best practices and fortify their knowledge. By validating skills, GSDC is addressing the challenges faced by professionals in today's competitive landscape. We bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical expertise, ensuring that individuals are equipped to succeed in their chosen fields. Visit our website to know more about GSDC.
Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to unlocking endless opportunities for professional growth and success. GSDC is an independent, vendor-neutral, international credentialing and certification organization for professionals. For over 5 years, we have certified the skills of over 100,000 professionals across EMEA, LATAM, APAC, and North America regions. We offer certification in learning and development, human resources, quality assurance, ISO and Six Sigma, emerging technologies, DevOps, SRE, Agile and Scrum, project management. GSDC is proudly accredited with ANSI and ABICB. We have global presence with offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore, and a strong network of over 50 global accredited training organizations.
But how do these certifications contribute to your career growth? GSDC certifications are globally recognized and trusted by many multinational organizations. Our certifications validate your skills and demonstrate your commitment to professional development. GSDC is collaborating with 500+ SMEs, advisors, and global experts to curate and share best practices with individuals. We validate those skills via experts-curated certification exams. Additionally to that, we also regularly conduct webinars, knowledge-sharing sessions, and various complementary learning initiatives to keep learners updated on the best practices and fortify their knowledge. By validating skills, GSDC is addressing the challenges faced by professionals in today's competitive landscape. We bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical expertise, ensuring that individuals are equipped to succeed in their chosen fields. Visit our website to know more about GSDC.
Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to unlocking endless opportunities for professional growth and success. GSDC is an independent, vendor-neutral, international credentialing and certification organization for professionals. For over 5 years, we have certified the skills of over 100,000 professionals across EMEA, LATAM, APAC, and North America regions. We offer certification in learning and development, human resources, quality assurance, ISO and Six Sigma, emerging technologies, DevOps, SRE, Agile and Scrum, project management. GSDC is proudly accredited with ANSI and ABICB. We have global presence with offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore, and a strong network of over 50 global accredited training organizations.
Welcome everyone. So please bear with us a few more minutes since few participants are yet to join. Yes, thank you.
But how do these certifications contribute to your career growth? GSDC certifications are globally recognized and trusted by many multinational organizations. Our certifications validate your skills and demonstrate your commitment to professional development. GSDC is collaborating with 500 plus SMEs, advisors, and global experts to curate and share best practices with individuals. We validate those skills via experts' curated certification exams. Additionally to that, we also regularly conduct webinars, knowledge sharing sessions, and various complementary learning initiatives to keep learners updated on the best practices and fortify their knowledge. By validating skills, GSDC is addressing the challenges faced by professionals in today's competitive landscape. We bridge the gap between theoretical knowledge and practical expertise, ensuring that individuals are equipped to succeed in their chosen fields. Visit our website to know more about GSDC.
Welcome to the Global Skill Development Council, your gateway to unlocking endless opportunities for professional growth and success. GSDC is an independent, vendor-neutral, international credentialing and certification organization for professionals. For over 5 years, we have certified the skills of over 100,000 professionals across EMEA, LATAM, APAC, and North America regions. We offer certification in learning and development, human resources, quality assurance, ISO and Six Sigma, emerging technologies, DevOps, SRE, Agile and Scrum, project management. GSDC is proudly accredited with ANSI and ABICB. We have global presence with offices in Switzerland, the United States, and Singapore, and a strong network of over 50 global accredited training organizations.
But how do these certifications contribute to your career growth? GSDC certifications are globally recognized and trusted by many multinational organizations.
Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the GSDC Global Agile ITSM webinar 2024. My name is Anjali. I am your host for today. Joining me is my colleague Ms. Setulu. So as a co-host, so if you need any assistance during this session, so please do reach out to her. We had an amazing, knowledgeable session yesterday with Mr. Joshua. So he has spoken on the topic Joy of Agility, how to solve problems and succeed sooner yesterday. And today's session, we have Mr. Michael Sahota, leadership trainer and organizational evolution consultant, Evolve 2B, will be presenting on the topic Leading Beyond Change from Servant Leadership to Evolutionary Leadership. And I would like to welcome Ms. Audrey Sahota. She will be joining with Michael during the Q&A session. Welcome, everyone. Let me introduce you our hosting organization, GSDC. We are a vendor-neutral, vendor-agnostic, globally recognized certification body. GSDC is being recognized in Forbes and TechTarget as one of the top IT certifications. And we are proud to say that we are accredited by globally renowned bodies, that is NC and ABICB. We have successfully certified 90,000 plus professionals worldwide. We have 100 plus certification portfolio. GSDC had 500 plus advisory board of members who are also our subject matter experts. They work closely with our team to help to design our deliverables. We are associated with 30 plus universities worldwide. So if you want to learn more about our council, so website link is shared in the chat box. We have over 100 plus authorized training partners associated with us globally. And we have these partners in Asia, Africa, Europe, Canada, and many more countries. Thank you, everyone, those who are joining this session through the partner channel. If you want to connect with our partners, the partners link is shared in the chat box. Also, a big shout out to our proud patrons for sharing these knowledgeable events with their network. Thank you very much for your support as always. Thank you very much, World Press Hub, our official media partner, for covering all our events and press release. As mentioned before, that we have 100+ certification portfolio, such as generative AI, blockchain, ISO, DevOps, and many more. So for this event, we are specifically focusing on GSDC's Agile ITSM Manager Certificate. So GSDC's Agile ITSM Manager Certificate is lifetime validated certificate, and these certifications come with learning resources, which is a lifelong learning, and also are all self-paced mode. If you require training of these certifications, so you can connect with our wide training partner channel. So please let us know. The link is shared in the chat box. Any candidate, those who are certified with GSDC, will get a lifelong membership and a complimentary upgrade to all the certifications and a free access to all the events, workshops, and webinars. So here's a quick announcement to everyone. Before we end this session, we will be having a quick 15 minutes of gamification session. So it will be held after the Q&A session. So please wait till end. And the top winner will win a GSDC exam voucher worth $400, and the top 3 winners will be posted on the GSDC Wall of Fame. Yes. So let me introduce you our keynote speaker, Mr. Michael Sahota, and leadership trainer and organizational evolution consultant, Evolve 2B. A big welcome, Michael, from the GSDC's behalf. Michael Sahota, through a journey marked by our personal challenges and profound growth, has emerged as a beacon of transformative leadership. As the mastermind behind the groundbreaking Shift 3.14 Evolutionary Leadership Framework Self, he offers a unique blend that weaves together strategy and organizational culture and resonate our leadership principles. So if you want to learn more about our speaker, then the LinkedIn profile is shared in the chat box. So before we go further with the speaker session, post this speaker session, we'll be having 15 minutes of Q&A. So meanwhile, during the session, you can feel free to put your questions in the chat box. We will be taking all your questions after the speaker session. Yes, thank you. Yes, Michael, you can take over the virtual mic. Right.
Great, thank you so much for having us. If you can stop your screen share, then we'll, and pin us, that'd be great. All right, thank you.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so thank you so much for having us. So you're probably wondering, like, what are we talking about? What is this session really about? And maybe you're curious about leadership. Maybe you're curious about how you can be more successful in your role. And I think at just the start, I'll say this is work. It says mastermind at the end of the bio, but actually she's the mastermind. That everything that you're getting, we're really sharing from our book, Leading Beyond Change. And this book was co-authored by Audrey and I based on kind of a marriage. We're married in real life. We're business partners, a marriage of our two worlds, my world of agile and organizations and teams, and Audrey's world of humans and what's going on with our ego and our thoughts and our emotions, and how do we actually tick?
Right, coming from the psychological background. My training goes a lot deeper than that. I've trained in India, studying consciousness. I've trained around the world with enlightened masters. And so I worked on a medical team for 5 years, trained professionally as an energetic healer. So we're talking about a deep dive into the study of the psychology of disease and how our mind and our thoughts create our realities. So I'm coming from a very different background as far as IT and computers and software. And at the same time, we're working with people. So we're not just working with computers, we are working with people. And all of us are within organizations where we're really focused on high performance in delivering, whether that be in your organization or in your family life or in other social and communal activities that you have. We're all trying to have impact. We're all trying to have hopefully positive influence, and we're all trying to reach goals.
Okay, wonderful. So, so I'm going to be taking over for the most part for this session. That's what we decided beforehand how we're going to organize this, and Audrey will be chiming in from time to time. So let's dive in. So my background is really I've been involved with Agile for over 2 decades. As an individual contributor, as a team lead, as management roles, as an external consultant trainer. And what Agile led me to realize is that for Agile to work, we need to create a different kind of culture system around Agile and the whole organizational system to hold that. And then as leaders, we're the ones creating it. Whether it could be your leader on your team, it could be your leader in your department. Culture is like a local phenomenon. So leadership is needed all throughout the organization. And we actually have great power that we don't actually realize that we have to create environments where people can function and be at their best and create the success and the high performance that we're looking for. And so really, I think, especially in terms of my journey with Audrey, but even before that, I started to go look very deeply in, well, how do human beings function? How is our ego functioning? How are we getting in our own way? And so what we're going to share with you is really, what can we do? What can you do? What can I do to be the leader that we want to be, to create the outcomes that we want? Oftentimes we feel stuck. You know, there are things that are going as we want. And this is really about how we can access our own capability to create that change. And so this is really a story of how you can reconnect with your power and your capability. All right, so again, this is co-created with Audrey. I'll get out of the way here. So what we're sharing with you here in this session is what we call the Shift 3.14 Evolutionary Leadership Framework. 3.14 reference to PI. We're sharing with you the timeless principles of evolution. And it's really about how to understand and evolve your organizational DNA. And what we're giving you is a way to create change, not just from the perspective of tactics and strategy, which is kind of the staple of most of us where we're comfortable, but all from the perspective of culture and leadership of what do we need to do to create an environment that allows people to flourish so we can get our products done, so we can have a thriving environment and faster, cheaper, better, et cetera. And so this framework is composed of maps to orient, principles to reason about things, models to understand the world, and tools for daily application. So we're going to go through some of that in our time here today to walk you through how to rethink how we think about work so that we can be successful. Whoops, that's not the right button. Here we go. So really the focus of this session is on the book you see here, which is Leading Beyond Change. Audrey and I have co-authored several books, but really the focus on this book, Leading Beyond Change, to give you kind of a behind-the-scenes guide to what's going on.
I think the Agile Adoption and Transformation Guide would be very helpful for them as well.
Yeah, so they're all good books. I mean, if we don't understand how our emotions work, how can we function as a leader, as a parent, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. All right, so let's talk about the evolutionary journey. That there's an evolutionary journey going on in ourselves, in our societies, whether we've known it or not. In the evolutionary journey, we've mapped out exactly what is going on. We've mapped out layer by layer that we're in a journey from traditional worlds, traditional ways of functioning to evolutionary ones. And what do I mean by that? Well, traditional, we can understand those traditional organizations. It's this command and control system. It's the ego running the show. It's the boss who thinks they know the answers and everybody else who reports them looking at like, oh my gosh, what is this person doing? And none of us ever intend to be that boss. But that's the nature of the ego. It's very, very tricky. And so there's this idea that, all of us, we've been oppressed our lives. And as soon as we get power, we start to oppress everybody else. It's in human nature. And so we're in this thousands of year-old pattern of oppression that's dominated this planet. And we talk about moving to a high-performance environment. You can call it an evolutionary organization. You can call it a teal organization. You can call it an exponential organization. You can call it whatever you like, but the characteristics are the same. Dozens and dozens of organizations have created these kind of environments by treating people well, by having leaders who function in a very, very different way. And so what we've created here is a way to decode that so that normal people like you and me can find a step-by-step path to become that leader who can create very different kinds of outcomes, who can create environments where people come alive, the products come alive, and the results are extraordinary. That's what we're speaking about. We're not speaking about how do you get 5% better or 10% better. We're talking about how you create a watermark shift in the results you're able to achieve. And it's all within our control. And here we go. This is why we say it's the roadmap to evolution. Because what we've decoded, and this is what the book details, it just talks about this in extraordinary detail, of layer by layer. How do we understand reality? How do we perceive leadership? How do we use power on a daily basis? How do we treat people? How do we perceive people? What is the emergent organizational culture? That's what we're speaking about here. And so ultimately, all of those things together determine the results that are emergent. And so the problem we've had most of our lives thinking a traditional way, we've been focusing on results and getting not so good results. What this gives us is a map that when we start to focus from the bottom and water the roots to create the fruit, what happens when we focus from the bottom up, we suddenly get incredible leverage to create a radically different kind of outcome. So that's what this roadmap to evolution gives us. And what we're going to do in this session is walk through a few traces through this, a few little sound bits and examples so you can get a sense of what is this journey and what can you do. And the reason we're just giving you a flavor of it, because it's all here in the book, Leading Beyond Change. So if you want to go deeper, that's where to go. Okay, so let's continue. Right, so the key idea here is that agile and new ways of working, everybody wants to have the adaptability, the resilience, higher levels of performance, faster time to market, lower cost. Everybody wants this. And those results sit over here. We need a completely different way of functioning as leaders within our organizational systems, whether it's using agile, digital, lean, DevOps, design thinking. I could go on listing dozens and dozens of innovative approaches, but all of them only work when we have an evolved culture. All of them only work when we as leaders are creating environments where they come to life. That's the secret. And most of us, the truth is, are over here. We operate in a traditional mindset, traditional way of functioning. And every day our organizations are asking us to operate in a traditional way. So most of us are somewhere on our evolutionary journey. That's why we say this is an evolutionary journey that all of us as individuals are on and our organizations are on to moving towards better and better ways of functioning. So I think the really kind of the thing we're being asked for as leaders of can we get better performance? Ultimately, it's culture, it's our leadership that's going to drive that to enable that to happen. So we're going to go through 3 dimensions of the evolutionary journey. The first place we're going to start is with these ones: navigating complexity. How do we do that? Understanding and creating psychological safety, and responsible, energized people. So let's talk about those dimensions of this evolutionary journey. We'll start with complexity. Everyone heard that we're dealing with a complex world. Sometimes people use the term VUCA, volatility, uncertainty, complexity. And so what we've decoded is that complexity is a spectrum. We need to understand where we are on the spectrum and what is the appropriate way for us to function. Now, in a low complexity environment, we use things like best practices, standards, and so on. And that's fantastic. In low complexity environments, that's exactly what we want to do. As complexity gets higher, we want to do things like analysis, come up with plans, access experts. And this is also the correct where the complexity of the environment is kind of this low medium area. When the complexity gets greater, and this is what's going on in almost every single IT project, then we're in the space where there is no correct answer anymore, where we need to learn. We need to experiment. We need to inspect and adapt. We need to iterate. We create proof of concept. We need to learn. In most of our traditional organizations, we cannot admit that we do not know the answer, that we need to learn. It's mind-boggling, but this is the core of where Agile came from, these lightweight projects where that was considered normal. It's considered just a basic understanding that we need to learn. For example, if you have a project team that delivers a project, this is a great story about it, right? Let's imagine your project team delivers a project. They've worked all year long, and then while everyone's at the Christmas party, the servers get destroyed, the code base burns down, and nobody has any copies of it. How long will it take that same team to recreate that project? Will it take a year? No, it won't, because everybody knows exactly what needs to be built already. It'll take way less time. It'll take maybe 5 months or 6 months or 7 months. It'll happen way faster. What was the team doing for the rest of the time? Well, they were learning. And that's what the understanding is that learning is the fundamental activity happening in our knowledge-based workplaces. But this does not fit in traditional organizations. And we start to understand this. We start to really utilize the complexity spectrum to understand this is what we need to do to succeed. Then we get very curious. Well, how do I create, as a leader, an environment where it's safe for people to learn and experiment? Most traditional environments, you can run any experiment you want as long as it's guaranteed to succeed. And so that's what our work is about. And when I say learning, it's like learning the technology, learning the business requirements, learning how to work together, learning the details of our technical tools, developing higher levels of mastery. That's why software craftsmanship is such an important example of one aspect of learning. So there's more to the journey, but most of us are working on this step. So I'm not going to go further and talk about the deepest levels of handling complexity. All right. So let's go on to talk about the journey towards fully responsible people. Actually, I'm going to do this in different order. Hold on. I'm going to do something first. I'll talk about psychological safety. We were just talking about running experiments. And when we talk about running experiments, people can only run experiments if it's psychologically safe for them to do so. And most people in our organizational systems are somewhere on the spectrum from low psychological safety towards high psychological safety. And the research on this is like overwhelming, totally conclusive. And when we are safe, our brains can function. We can use our intelligence, we can be creative, we can learn, we can discover. But most of us are in environments where we're in a constant state of fear, stress, worry. And what this does is it shuts off the blood supply to our frontal cortex. That's what's been going on for most people in your workplace. So it's kind of astonishing for me to have to tell you this, but your number one job is to make people feel psychologically safe or improve their level of psychological safety. And you're going, well, shaving cream. I've been trained in IT. I'm a technical expert. I'm not a psychologist. How am I supposed to do this? But that's what's required of you as a leader. That's what's required of you as a manager in order to do your job so people can perform. Just let that sink in. For you to be successful in your role as a leader, for you to successfully move to a better environment for your people and higher levels of performance, it requires that you use fundamentally different skills that you've not been trained and learned. So that's why we wrote a book. This is a how-to book with step-by-step. So we're giving you these little pieces that are essential for you today. And then even going even deeper, if you look at your psychological safety, and most people, most organizations are feeling this incredible pressure to deliver that's compromising our safety levels and preventing us from functioning at our best, learning, making the correct decisions, and so on. When I say leader, when we're talking about moving to a high performance organization, we're talking about moving to leaders at all levels, not just people who have formal authority. In real teams, real functioning high performance teams, everyone is operating as leaders. So everything I'm speaking about here applies to you, no matter what your role. No matter what your role, this is what's required, that all of us show up as our best self. And I'm going to go even deeper on this concept to talk about the whole journey towards creating a high performance team, a high performance department, high performance organization is helping yourself and everyone else become fully responsible. You say, well, I'm an adult, I'm responsible. Okay, well, wait a minute, let's just check this out. Most of us in our traditional society, to some extent, are showing up, to some extent, showing up theory X. We're avoiding responsibility, we're sometimes unambitious, we're unmotivated, right? This is the truth of us. And when we start to admit that, and is the volume better? Pratiksha, I moved the microphone a bit closer. Is this better now? You can just respond via chat. I'll keep on going while you're answering that question. Okay, great. All right, thank you. Thank you, Mohan. Okay, great. So let's keep on going. So this is kind of the table stakes, and you know the people on your team who are showing up theory X. Your job as a manager is to help them get out of that And what we want to do is we want to see people who are theory Y. This is kind of the minimum we're trying to get to. People who are showing up theory Y, who seek responsibility, who are self-directed, who are motivated. You know, they're moving things forward on their own. We're not having to try to motivate them or get them to do things. Like, they're part of the solution already. But that's not all that is required to create a shift out of the traditional way of functioning. There's a final step. There's one more step, X, Y. You can probably guess the next letter. Z, theory Z. Theory Z is our definition. Of course, theory X, theory Y is the work of McGregor. You probably recognize that. But theory Z is our work, where it's what we call total responsibility. It's where, as an adult, this is what we call a real adult, we take total responsibility for all of our behavior. We take total responsibility for all of our beliefs. We take total responsibility for our emotions and our energy. Now, this is kind of a radical thing, right? Because in a traditional world, we blame everybody else, right? In traditional world, it's everyone else's fault. You know, it's my parents' fault, it's the leader's fault. So if you think about, where do you get frustrated? Where do you get frustrated? Who are you frustrated with right now at work? Is it the leaders? Is it people on your team? Is it other departments? Is it regulations? When you're frustrated, you're moving yourself to theory X. That's why we say we are actually, I mean, this is a much deeper subject, but we're actually self-victimizing ourselves. We're the ones taking ourselves out of the game. And when we step into total responsibility, we say, wait a second, I'm taking myself out of the game. I'm not showing up theory Y or theory Z. I'm showing up theory X. And when we start to take that level of responsibility, that's what's going to inspire people. So the secret to success is not about trying to change other people. The secret to success is for us to be the leader that inspires other people. That's what we're speaking about here. And this is what's actually required to create a shift towards a high performance environment. Now, all of these three dimensions I've been speaking about, let's put them up here on the slide. All these three dimensions overlap, right? So it's not that you just want to look at one of them. And these are only three. And there's about 40 dimensions we go through in our work. But we need to understand that there's a complex, interrelated shift that we need to do, that is required to shift out of a traditional way of functioning into an evolutionary way of functioning. So this is what's happening as an organizational system. And we're going to go into detail of what we call that. That's called evolutionary leadership. We're saving that till later. And we're going to go through in detail, what does this mean in terms of your leadership? But this is what's required of us as a system, as individuals, is to be able to create these kinds of shift, which means shifting ourselves first and then helping other people on the journey. So you can think about this for yourself. Where is your organization from 1 to 10? Where 1 is it's very traditional, and 10 is, wow, it's an exceptional organization. It's inspiring people around the world. It's just a fantastic place. And just notice, where's your organization from 1 to 10? If you can just put in the chat, where's your organization right now from 1 to 10? We can see the chat go by. You can just put a number from 1 to 10. Where do you sense your organization is from traditional to organization? Where traditional is 1, evolutionary is 10. See a 1, thank you, an 8, wonderful. I'll give you another few moments to put some numbers in a 1. Thank you, Jack. 9, very good. 3, 6, okay, great, thank you. All right, so one caution I'd say is that we've done a lot of work around the world. It's sometimes really hard to assess what healthy looks like until people have actually spent a lot of time in this work. So just a little caveat there. So evolutionary journey, where does it take us? Well, what are we speaking about here? If we're talking about evolving organization, it means evolving our organization from its current way of functioning to a more evolved way of functioning that has completely different outcomes. And so if you think about this could be your team, your department, it means a shift for your outcome of your organization to shift to a more adaptable, resilient, higher performance outcome. That requires a shift in all the behaviors of all the people, all the workers and all the leaders. And this is what's required. And this is the part that often gets missed. Most people in leadership positions think, I'm fine. And this is the biggest challenge within organizations. That's what the ego says. The ego says, I'm fine, everybody else needs to change, right? And when you start to realize that is the trap, the moment you think you are fine, it means you are no longer learning. So the secret here is that if you're not evolving and evolving at a faster rate, you are part of the problem. You are not part of the solution, because everybody needs to evolve. The moment you think you figured it out, the moment you think that you don't need to grow, it means that you are stuck. And this diagram explains it. We're going to build on Carol Dweck's work. Carol Dweck talked about the difference between a fixed mindset, right, where there's no feedback, there's no growth, there's no learning, versus a growth mindset, where we're constantly learning, we're welcoming feedback. The moment you think you've got it all figured out and you don't need to grow and everybody else the problem, that's called a fixed mindset. That's what most leaders are in. And so what we've realized is that a growth mindset, while it's very valuable, is not sufficient for an evolutionary journey. What is required for an evolutionary journey is an evolutionary mindset. It's kind of obvious, evolutionary journey, evolutionary mindset, but there it goes. Anyway, so with an evolutionary mindset, we're stepping beyond a growth mindset into, what does this say about me? How can I grow myself? This is about self-learning, about connecting with our sense of being, becoming conscious as a human being. And I'll give you an example. Let's say there's a retrospective, this is a project, something went wrong in production, or a project was really late. With a fixed mindset, someone says, oh, it's their fault. We did what we were supposed to do, et cetera, et cetera. With a growth mindset, people will be having a retrospective, a project postmortem. What happened? How did we all contribute to this? What do we need to change as an organizational system to fix it? With an evolutionary mindset, we go beyond that. We say, wait a second, if we failed as a system, it means that I contributed to that failure in some way. How did I contribute? Oh, maybe I didn't raise my hand to alert to a problem. Maybe I could see something going wrong, but I didn't step in. Maybe I made a mistake. How did I contribute? And when we step into an evolutionary mindset, that is the part where we, you and me, when we step in the evolutionary mindset, that is where we are growing as a human being. I'm going to repeat this. This is where we are growing as a human being and evolving as a human being, as a leader. Over here, it's helpful. We're growing as a team. We're changing our processes and so on, but we're not really growing as human beings. This is where we step into that, our own journey, our own responsibility, our own evolution. And that is what was required to create this shift, to break out of this traditional mindset. Because if we're in a traditional mindset, we think we're fine. So what does this all mean? Well, we're going to play you this short video from Star Wars, just to give a little flavor of what is required to create this kind of shift. Here we go.
No. We'll never get it out now.
So certain are you? Always with you what cannot be done. Do you nothing that I say?
Master, moving stones around is one thing. This is totally different.
No, no different. Only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned.
So this is like a summary of why is going on this journey so hard. And it's what Yoda said, is that you have to unlearn what you have learned. The hardest part of this journey is not understanding what healthy looks like. The hardest part of this journey is letting go of your existing beliefs, existing behavior patterns, emotional attachments to certain way of skills. While there's certain practical skills, there's this much more important aspect of letting go of these beliefs, these worldviews that are driving all of our behaviors, that are sitting behind everything. Because let's take one example. Increasing your level of psychological safety. That's not a skill you learn. That's not like a little, hack or technique. That's shifting the neurophysiology of your being from your overactive fight or flight system, your amygdala hijacking that's going on all the time, from your overactive sympathetic nervous system to being in a place where you're calm and resourced. So when there's an emergency happening, you can be present and stable and help people. That's what we're saying, that this journey is not just about skills, not just about knowledge. Primarily, it's about letting go of our existing beliefs and restabilizing our nervous system so we can function as a more evolved leader. And when we do that, we're the person everybody wants to work for. Everybody wants to be on our team because it's powerful and inspiring. And what happens when we do that is suddenly we stop being a problem and we're part of the solution and we get promoted really, really fast. So for our own, looking after our family, looking after what's important for us in our personal lives, this is like a win. Not only that, this stuff transfers. So we don't just have a better situation at work, we have a better relationships, better family situation. So now that we're here, we're set up to talk about what is evolutionary leadership. And what we've been doing this whole time is talking about, well, what are the mechanics of the laws of cause and effect of organizations? How do things work? What is required to create a very different kind of outcome? So evolutionary leadership, it is what we call the evolution of servant leadership, the natural evolution. Servant leadership is a concept that's been around for 50 years. And it says, well, look, you got to be a steward, you got to look after your people. And that's nice. But the thing is, well, how do I do that? How do I get to be a more evolved leader? It turns out that all of us need to do work. And so what we're talking about here with evolutionary leadership is how do we get to that place of being a better leader? And it turns out the secret is that we need to evolve. We need to adopt an evolutionary mindset, and we need to learn and let go of our existing beliefs that are traditional in order to replace them with healthier beliefs that allow us to function as a better leader. So evolutionary leadership, and this is our definition at our organization, evolutionary leadership is the choice to evolve oneself and develop the capabilities needed to evolve an organization. Now, the reason the word choice is highlighted here is because that's all it takes. As soon as you or anyone around you makes the choice to evolve and commits to that, it will happen. It'll happen at an evolutionary rate based on your current skills and tools and so on. But when we start to make that choice, without that choice, we're not in an evolutionary mindset. We're probably might be in a fixed mindset where we think it's everybody else and they're the problem, they're the challenge. Now, what we said earlier was that it's not just skills, it's not just the doing, it's also a shift in our state of being. It's a shift in our nervous system so that we're functioning as a more evolved human being, as a healthier human being. And we've escaped this fight or flight structure that we're trapped in. So Viktor Frankl, we'll just quote him here. He's got the beautiful quote. He was, wrote this famous book as a World War II Holocaust survivor, and he was inspirational to everyone around him, the prison guards, the other prisoners, and so on. And his statement is, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we're challenged to change ourselves. And so the idea here is that if you've been around as a leader, you've tried so many things to fix your people, you've tried so many things to get different kinds of outcomes, you've tried so many things to feel a deep level of satisfaction at work. And this is a way for you to understand, well, maybe it's time to do something different. Maybe it's time to actually look at how we are playing a role in what's happening around us. So we're sharing with you the evolution of high performance, right? Really, this is how to get high performance. So we'll map this out for you step by step. That everyone in the world, at every department, every organization wants result. They want business agility, they want resilience, the ability to thrive in a VUCA world. And that depends on new ways of working and engaged, motivated people. You with me so far? We say, well, what creates engaged, motivated people and has healthy new ways of working? Well, we need to have a healthy organizational environment and culture. And then we step back. We'll say, well, wait, who's creating the environment and the culture? Well, the leaders are creating the environment through their decisions. They're creating the culture through their behavior every day. Culture is made fresh daily, every single day. And where are we? Well, if we want to create leaders at all levels, it's up to us, ourselves, to create other leaders. That's how we can actually create a high-performance organization, is when we have leaders at all levels. So this is really looking at the laws of cause and effect. Without self-evolution, there's no way we can increase our ability to create other leaders around us. And if we don't do that, we can't create a healthy organizational environment culture, which means we can't create engaged people, which means we can't really achieve the results we want. So it's inevitable that our evolution, and this is what you see in great leaders, that somehow through their life, they become evolved and they continue to evolve. But this is a skill, a mindset, this belief of becoming an evolutionary leader that hasn't really been available on the planet. I mean, the previous metaphor was servant leadership. It wasn't about evolving ourselves. It was just, hey, just do these things and you'll be fine. But now we've come to this deeper understanding that it's about unlearning. It's about letting go of the past is the most important thing to create a space for us to function in new ways. So if we kind of put like a little bit of a description around what is this journey about? What is this journey about? And you can think about how are you showing up for your team right now as we go through this? As a leader, how are you showing up? What is going on with your doing? Is your doing focused on results, focused on goals, executing a plan, blaming others, managing through, talking, driving change? Or is it evolutionary, focusing on people, focusing on the environment, flowing with change, looking at your own role when something goes wrong, asking for help, listening and co-creating, right? So the doing that we see on the spectrum of traditional to evolutionary is quite different. These are very different ways of functioning at a doing level. But looking deeper at a being level, we see there's also a very large contrast. In a traditional world, we're feeling stress and pressure. So if you're feeling stress and pressure, it means you're operating over here. Fear, impatience, judgmental about others, leaders, people on teams, what's happening, people, thinking you're right, looking smart. This is not your fault. This is the default nature of the ego. We're just kind of starting to call it out that we're all caught up in this trap. And until we learn to operate differently, where we're peaceful, we're calm, we're feeling higher levels of psychological safety. We have patience for ourselves and others. We have compassion for ourselves and others. We're curious, which is kind of the prerequisite for learning. We have humility to understand that we're not perfect. We're just a normal human being and we're on our evolutionary journey, just like everyone else. So this is the shift that's required of us to be that kind of leader that can create a very different kind of outcome and environment in our team, in our department, in our personal lives, and so on. And there's this idea that we're really just talking about physics. In quantum physics, it says the field determines the particle. And what happens is the field that we create as a leader determines how the particles around us respond. So what does that mean? It means that how you show up, the field you create, determines the people who report to you, and to some extent your peers, whether they'll show up as leaders. And collectively, as a person, the field that you create determines the environment and culture that's going to be fostered on your team and your department and so on, which determine whether these new ways of working can actually function, whether people can actually run an experiment, whether people can actually really learn, whether they're engaged and motivated, theory Y and theory Z, which determines the results that your group will get. So this is how we say that you actually have much more power than you understand, that we actually are creating the outcomes that we see around us. So if you don't like the outcome you're seeing on your team and your department, this is where we're saying, well, look, you can actually change that without trying to change anyone else, simply by changing how you are functioning, how you are interacting with that system. So we've walked through the details of this roadmap of evolution, of how all of us can create a shift, that this is not some mysterious journey. Like we've mapped it all out, aspect by aspect. And what I want you to do now is think about this. What was it like to experience a great leader? Maybe you've got a great leader right now, someone who inspires you. Maybe it's somebody in the past. Maybe it's somebody when you were in school. Just think, what was it like for you? What did you experience when you had that great leader? Actually, let me go back to this. If you think about that great leader, you think about what you would do for them. Think about how you felt every day going in. Think about how good it felt to be supported by that leader. Yeah, I'm seeing some comments, transformational, empowered. Think at how motivated you were. Were you theory X, unmotivated, or were you theory Y or theory Z? Many of us, when we have a great leader, we're inspired, compassionate. Yeah, we're inspired. Like they brought out the best in us. They made us want to be good. They made us want to contribute. They made us feel belonging and wanting to be there, respectful and available to talk to the team. Yeah, like this is what it takes. You know, you've experienced this hopefully in your life. Somebody who was that great leader, that great mentor, who brought out the best in you. That is what we are talking. Yeah, very chilled out, supportive. They're not in fear. They're not stressing out about things. That is what we're talking about. You recognize it, you know it. And what we have to offer you is the path to get there. Now, I want you to contrast that great leader with how are you showing up every day? Not on your best day, but on a normal day. How are you showing up? And you might notice there's a little bit of a gap, or even a lot of a gap. You know, for most of us, when we think about that great leader, they're over here and we're maybe over here. And that's what we're hoping to connect with, to inspire you to say, wait a second, I want to be that leader. I want to be shown how to be that leader because I know what impact it has on people's lives. At a personal level, I know what impact it has on the success we can create together. That's what I want for myself. That's what I want to have happen. And you don't have to wait to be a formal leader if you're not a formal leader. You can be that now, and then you'll get promoted to be that formal leader. We've got many people who come through our training who go, I don't think of myself as a leader, but I want to learn how to be successful. That's what this is about. Yeah, learning from mistakes is a big part of it. But going even deeper, like what's happening with us. So here's the news item. You are the leader you've been waiting for. You don't need to wait for anyone. You know what good looks like. You can choose right now to make that what you want for your destiny, for your career, for your life. If you want. That's why we say it's a choice. It's a choice for all of us. And there's no wrong choice. There's no right choice. We're sovereign human beings. We can create whatever we want. So let's summarize. What is evolutionary leadership? We'll give you the full package here. So evolutionary, this is what to do tomorrow. The trap in a traditional way of functioning, the traditional pattern we typically fall into, is to keep doing the same thing and expect different results and trying to get other people to change. That's typically how we function with a traditional mindset. The success pattern, the evolutionary pattern we're inviting you to here, is to commit to your evolutionary leadership journey, to shift my leadership skills to unlock the effectiveness of my organization. And so this is the invitation. Just see when we're falling into the traditional pattern and make a different choice. Everyone here can make a different choice. It's not about changing yourself. It's about making different choices daily that over time lead you to be a very, very different kind of leader. So what you want to ask yourself is, how do I need to develop as a leader to create better outcomes? And it's just being really honest, not about beating yourself up or judging yourself. It's just, I need to develop in these dimensions. And then if I do that, I'm going to create better outcomes for myself. I'll feel better. It's a win-win-win. Okay. So everything we're sharing with you here is the Shift 3.1 Evolutionary Leadership Framework. It's a framework designed to help you go on this journey. That's what it's about. That's what we've been sharing, different elements, different maps, principles, models, tools from that framework. If you want to go deeper, we've got a QR code here. Here's a link to a webpage with a book. It's available through Amazon as well. But it's leading me on change. And if you see over here, there's one of our students. They have all these little tabs in here because it's designed as a field guide. It's a practical book of how do you move from traditional to evolutionary. It goes through pattern, then it goes through another pattern, then it goes through another pattern. It gives you the step-by-step. If you want to learn more directly, there's also newer material here that's not in the book because our work keeps on evolving. We have what we call Leading Evolutionary Organizations Training, right? And it's really giving you the best kind of summary of the entire book that we can do in a 2-day training. So that's something that we offer. We're not currently associated with GSDC, at this point in time. That might be happening in the future, but right now we're running this as a separate program. So that's there if you want to learn these skills. If you are coming from an Agile context and we're part of the Agile track, we've got what we call the Agile transformation keys to start to pace out of this kind of Agile frame of reference to this larger evolutionary frame of reference. So that's a free download if you're interested in having that. I'll leave this up for another moment. And so just in summary, we're sharing with you here what we've discovered as the roadmap to evolution, the roadmap to creating a higher performance organization, the roadmap to being a better leader. So we're going to go to Q&A now. So I'm going to bring Audrey back on the screen. And we'll open up now for questions. And you can ask the questions directly in the chat. I'm not sure if you're allowed to turn on your video and unmute. I'm not sure. Anyway, over to you as the host.
Yes, thank you very much, Michael, for this amazing, insightful, and creative presentation. So we have got some questions on our live social media. So I'm going to I'll spell it down for you. First question is, how does evolutionary leadership build on and different from servant leadership in Agile ITSM settings?
That's a great question. You go first, or me go first? Yeah, so let's talk about Agile. Agile is an incomplete culture system. Agile requires that we function in a more evolved culture, but it doesn't tell us how to get there. So there's nothing in Agile that tells me as a leader how to behave, other than I need to learn, I need to respond to change, I need to treat people well, right? So it's this incomplete cultural fragment that's pointing in a very healthy direction, but we don't ever, we've been involved in teaching the Certified Agile Leadership course since it came out. We were actually the first trainers to do it in 2016. But we never taught agile leadership, because agile leadership doesn't really exist. Agile is just pointing to an evolutionary way of functioning. So it doesn't make sense to talk about agile leadership. So that's kind of the agile. So everything we're saying is fully aligned with agile, but agile is incomplete. We're kind of completing the whole picture here. In terms of servant leadership talks about some of the attributes of what good looks like, but it's much more on the doing side of the equation. It doesn't address the being side of the equation. That's probably the highest level of summary. But it says things like, oh, you need to have strategic vision. And it turns out from research, from the actual case studies of high performance organizations, that's not a necessary leadership characteristic. So there's some things in servant leadership that are erroneous. The core of it's correct, that operating as a steward of the system is what's critically important. And so when I say steward of the system, when we look at this diagram behind us, I'll get us out of the way. Steward of the system, that's what this means. We're a steward of the people. We help inspire people to be leaders, and we're a steward of the system. But I think this is where there's an important difference. It doesn't say that we're here to inspire other people to be leaders. So what we've gained through evolutionary leadership and the work of the SELF framework is a level of specificity of what is needed to get there. Being a steward and looking after the system, that's fine. That's nice. Looking after people, that's nice. But we're going to a level of precision of what is required to actually get there, not just through this understanding of creating leaders, but also through, if you look at servant leadership, there's no mention of even a growth mindset or an evolutionary mindset, right? So there's just sorry, I'm on the wrong slide. Oops. All these slides look the same. There we go. There's no mention of a growth mindset or an evolutionary mindset. It's not present at all. But this is the critical success factor. This is the critical success factor. So that's why what I'd point to there.
There's another question. How would you recommend applying these techniques to children teaching leadership training?
So that's a great question.
A lot of our students ask, why
So,
don't we learn this in primary school?
I'd say don't. Don't teach the children anything. Why? Why would I say don't teach them anything? It's really, really clear. I'm going to go back to that diagram. The reason you don't want to teach them is because the most important thing you can do is to show them. The most important thing you can do is to show them. So when you teach them, it means you're trying to tell them, make them get it. the much better thing if you want them
And
to
we
be
all
leaders,
know when you tell children to do something, they don't do it.
they do the
So-
opposite, right? So the best thing you can do is just focus on you living whatever you want to teach them. Just look at yourself in the mirror, ask your peers if you need to, your partner, how can you do a better job with whatever you want to teach them? Now, what has happened when you do that for a period of years and you get mastery over it, what happens then is that's what happens to some people who are licensed and train our work is they're living and embodying what it means to be an evolutionary leader because they've gone on their own growth journey and they've developed into that leader who can then teach. Most of us don't have the prerequisites needed. We're so busy trying to help everybody else. We haven't really looked fully at how we need to grow and evolve. So my recommendation is really just look inward of whatever you want to teach others at how you can do a better job modeling it.
Next one.
The next question is, if I use agile project management techniques, how much can I progress with it in looking too traditional? So agile is really beautiful as a team level technology for having people work together. Agile is really beautiful for talking about projects and portfolios and how you can build those on a large scale. It says absolutely nothing of how to function as a leader. It really doesn't say anything about how to function as a team member. It doesn't say anything about how to evolve as a human being. So there's this whole dimension of what's required to create success with Agile that's completely missing. And that's what we're filling in the gap for here.
I think originally the Agile itself as a methodology was pointing to people over process. So if you read the manifesto, it all points to people over process continuously. So it's pointing to a people-centric way of working, but it doesn't tell you how to get there. It's under the illusion that if you do Scrum or if you do any of these practices, DevOps, Lean, whatever, that you're automatically going to create a people-centric environment, and that does not happen.
Or all you need to do is say, hey, be people-centric, put people over process.
But how?
Yeah, right. It's like, well, yeah, you need a lot more training after that. It's not
so you still need the skill development. You need absolutely the skill development, and you can stay with the skill development, the tactics and the strategies in traditional ways of doing Agile. That's fine, but you won't realize the full benefits. You won't get the results that are really what is possible from Agile ways of working. And that's what you want. I mean, you want better, cheaper, faster. And unfortunately, the tactics and the strategies won't pull you across the finish line for that.
Yeah. So Raju asked this question: what's one major different element or factor between servant leadership and evolution? We covered it. I'm going to cover it again. I'll give two, right? Just quickly. One is that let me get us out of the way here. In evolutionary leadership has the notion of, I'm in the wrong slide again. I'm famous for that. Okay, here we go. Evolutionary leadership has the growth mindset, the evolutionary mindset, which is the critical success factor. This even growth mindset is nowhere present in servant leadership.
So let's be really specific. Evolutionary mindset says, how am I creating this problem? That's what the evolutionary mindset says. It doesn't point to it. It doesn't beat around the bush. It says, how am I showing up and how am I creating this problem? And it's not blaming everybody else. You're still growing from your mistakes and you're welcoming feedback, but it's an internal responsibility kind of checklist of saying, how am I creating this problem and what can I do differently? How can I show up? How can I make everybody else around me successful? And it's a very, very different thing.
Yeah. So the other one I'll give you is just the first part of this diagram. It's not just I need to create an environment that supports leaders. It's how I show up is determining how other leaders are show up. So it's taking a deeper level of responsibility for what we're creating. All right. So let's go back to the questions. I think there's another question here. If you want in any event, if you want leadership in any event, which qualities must be in you?
And how can you pass an interview for leadership? So interviewing is very different because in an interview, you're going to have to share experiences. and you're going to have to share the wins that you've created in your leadership qualities and capabilities. So, you know, I don't know if you want to address this.
Yeah, I'll say a little bit about this. So probably the best advice is know where your organization is that you're interviewing with, traditional to evolutionary. Because if you're doing a traditional organization, you don't want to give very progressive answers because you won't get hired there, right? So if you're dealing with an evolutionary organization, you should be honest about what's going on with you and where you are in your journey and that you're growing, because that's what they're looking for. Evolutionary organizations all they really care about is, do you have some basic level skill and are you able to grow into and evolve as a human being? Right. And so that's where you really want to look at what are you doing about your own growth, your own evolution. It was, I think, leadership skills, again, come back to look at the examples you have from your past of how you were able to inspire people, how you were able to create a healthy environment.
How you were able to deliver projects.
Yeah. So it comes back to, well, show them how you're able to complete this diagram to create the results. All that you really care about is, can you make sure things happen and look after your people and so on. So when you talk to them and give them stories of how you've actually done that, that's what will support that.
Okay, so I just want to go back really fast. Personality types, introvert and extrovert, really don't matter in this instance because you're talking about and I'm going to cover two things about bringing and implementing evolutionary leadership to your team or your corporation. We're really talking, it's called the self framework for a reason, because you're focusing on your own self and your own leadership skills, being soft skills or hard skills. It's about how you are showing up and how you are able to lead and inspire and deliver. And so, so one of the things that you have to, if it's not about other people being an introvert or an extrovert, it's, are you an introvert or an extrovert? And is that okay? You don't have to be an extrovert to be a leader, because we're not talking about those loud leaders that inspire and hooray and rah, rah, rah. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a very different way of showing up for the people on your team. You're being responsible. You're helping them understand that we know and understand there's a pressure to deliver. How are you doing today? How can I help you be successful? If you live the mantra, how can I help you be successful? Whether you're looking up at your boss and you're helping them be successful, or you're looking to the people that report to you, how can I help you be successful? Or your team members, your peers, how can I help you be successful? If you just live that, you're going to be good.
So just to put this up behind us, there's nothing in the state of being or the doing that's anything to do with introvert or extrovert. These are qualities that cut across those labels or dimensions. So just, that's kind of the answer there. That's not what's relevant. What's relevant is your state of evolution as a leader.
And there's which mindset is ready to use
yeah, I want to do something. I'm going to do this one first. How could you implement an evolutionary mentality?
Oh, I see.
To a team and then to a corporation? So it's always inward, outward. So we always start with ourselves. And when we show up differently, the other people around us will notice and they'll be one part of it too. And then they come on the journey. And then we're successful in our little group and we're focused on our own quiet success. And then if other people come and ask us, hey, what are you doing? Because they're curious and it's safe for us to share with them, then we'll share with them and it'll kind of spread that way.
Look up culture bubbles in the book.
Yeah. And the other one is
building adapters. And
yeah. And the other one is adoption readiness. Yeah. And so where people are, most people aren't ready. And so it's a matter of really having patience. It's funny, patience is right behind us, right behind Audrey, right here, patience. When we have patience and compassion, that's actually what makes real lasting change happen faster. Most transformation programs are horrific and cause a lot of damage.
And but the ways to adopting
if the leaders aren't modeling these evolved characteristics that we're talking about here, then to put agile team doesn't work. So going to this question, which mindset is agile to use for agile management? Like our view is that everybody who holds any authority, like the architects, the world, the formal managers, when all those people are operating with an evolved mindset that are operating in line or on their evolutionary journey, operating in healthier and healthier ways, then you create the cultural context where Agile can actually work, where Scrum can actually work, where, you know, pick your framework, Agile framework choice can actually work, where people actually be customer centric. Because until the people are looked after fully, they can't look after the customers. So how can you build amazing products? It's not possible. And how can the people feel looked after unless the leadership team knows how to look after them? Which is not about technical skills. It's not about product knowledge. It's not about industry knowledge. It's about understanding the mechanics of showing up as a leader that can create an environment where people can flourish,
Look
which is a
up
different
virtuous
skill.
cycle in the book.
Yeah.
It explains,
Yeah.
it explains that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we'll just take one last question. Are there any techniques to use to deal with complicated calls? So I think you asked this one before. So yes, I'm going to give you the very direct answer. With those complicated colleagues, look at how you are frustrated. And if you want to work through it, here's the book. The people around us are not a problem. They have behaviors. When we are calm and clear and present, there's no problem. I mean, you might want some skills. We do this in our level 2 leadership training of how to hold those crucial conversations in a way that's very effective, how to really listen to get them to open up and understand what's happening with them. Now, anyone can exit a problem staff member. That's very, very easy. What we're talking about is these, as we progress and become a better leader, our rescue rate of people who are challenged, and most people are challenged to greater or lesser extents, goes way up. So that's really kind of your success metric as a leader is, can you reach this person? Can you help this person? Can you create an environment, an option for this person to recover from whatever that conditioning in their life is that's preventing them from being successful? And actually save all the knowledge that they have, that they learned about the product. Because exiting an employee and hiring somebody else is very, very expensive. Costs hundreds of thousands of dollars to replace all their knowledge, to rebuild team dynamics, so on. So that's really, really important, is to understand how we are reacting to these other people. And when we do that, we clear away our reactions, then we can just listen to them. Then we can understand, oh, they're just a human being having a hard day or a hard situation. And then from there, some recovery path can emerge. Do you want to address that one?
No, I think you did that well.
Okay. All right. So we're going to close here. Thank you so much for participating in this session. Thank you so much for your questions. Thank you so much for GSDC for hosting us. It's been a pleasure being here.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michael. It was a wonderful session and we really enjoyed it. Thank you so much, Audrey, for presenting this as well. Yes. So before we move forward with a gamification session, so Michael and Audrey, would you like to add any last statement to this event?
I think Michael talked a lot, so I'll just say a few words, and that is really, it's about showing up for yourself in your life and being successful. And you're always leading your life, no matter where you are. And when you're coming from a stance of evolutionary leadership, you have much more options, and you will unlock your success in extraordinary ways. And it's really about, for us, it's about changing the planet. It's really helping people understand how we're showing up now on Earth as a society is not working. And we really we take this to heart, that I know it's in an agile context, but we're really not talking about agility. We're talking about humanity. And these are skills that we need for our own selves and to deal with our families and our loved ones and our partners and treating the people at work better, because toxic environments create toxic people, and toxic people create toxic products and services that create a toxic planet.
So let's break the cycle now.
Yeah.
It's up to us. All right. Thank you so much. We're going to drop off now. It's been a pleasure.
Yes, thank you. So before we move forward with the gamification session, so stay connected with us. I would like to welcome my colleague, Ms. Setalu, like to take this forward.
Yeah, thank you so much, Anjali, for the time. And thank you, Michael and Audrey, as well. What an amazing session we had. So now, as we continue with the gamification session, we will work on utilizing our brains at work right now, since we have had all the theoretical presentation now and all the theoretical experience we had. So let's input that into a practical situation in this gamification round. So what I will do is I will be sharing the link and the session ID for the game on the chat box there. You can go ahead and click on the link and register. Michael and Audrey, if you are still there, do feel free to join us as well. If you have the time, do feel free to join and try this game with us. So to everyone here, you have some have joined us yesterday as well for the game. Whoever has joined, you already know the drill, how to go about it. And whoever are here for the first time, you can directly click on the link that is shared on the chat box right now, and you can go ahead and sign up for this game. What you will be seeing is this screen here that you can see on my screen right now, which I'm displaying on the Zoom screen here. Just click on sign in. Step 1, sign in, and then obviously you won't be having the credentials, so you will find the sign up option there. So step 2 is that click on sign up, then enter your first name, last name, your email ID, and the session ID, which is 1735. So you have to enter your name and your email ID correctly so that we can get in touch with you in case you win this game. Also, we have a $400 worth voucher up for grabs for the first top winner. So you can take the chance to try this. While everyone is signing up, let me quickly brief you about the game that we'll be playing today. Today we will be doing this game called Spin the Wheel. And what you will be doing is, obviously, like the name suggests, spin the wheel. So you'll be spinning the wheel and you'll be winning points according to what you answer to the questions. The questions will obviously be related to Agile, and obviously whatever you have learned today and yesterday, you will be able to input those learning into this game here. So once you see this game, click on play and you will enter the dashboard. If you are not seeing this game spin the wheel, then just go to your top profile here on the right side and click on the change session and then enter your session ID, that is 1735. So 1735 is the session for today. Just enter that and you will find this game Spin the Wheel. Let me share the lobby here to see how many of you have registered so far. Yeah. So here is the lobby. You can see your name there. If you are finding difficulty in registering for the game, then just let us know and we'll guide you accordingly. And for those who are watching us live on our social media, you can find the link on the comment box there. All right, so yeah, I can see many people joining in. The link is shared on the chat box. Click on it and register soon. If you are facing difficulty in entering through your already registered account, then you will have to register through another account. You can also use any dummy account as well. It's asking for login. Okay, you can directly go to sign up. You can directly go for sign up and then just enter your details there. If your email is not working, then you always have the option to use a dummy email. So you can use the dummy email as long as your first name and last name is correct. We can reach out to you. Okay, some are asking about the certificate for this event. We will reach out to you. Our team will reach out to you by tomorrow regarding the certificates. So within 24 to 48 hours, you will receive your attendance certificate. So don't worry about it and you'll get it there. We do have some more questions regarding today's session as well. Sorry that we could not take it all since we have a time limit, but yeah, we definitely will have another session another time. You can join us again. Okay, you can join the game. You can join the lobby. I haven't started the game yet. You can check your name here. We have started the registration, so you can register and you can enter the lobby. I'll give it another 2 minutes and then we'll begin the game. So do hurry up. Yeah. Okay, again, if you are not seeing the game that is spin the wheel, you have to enter the correct ID. That is 1735. 1735, that's the ID for today. Just one more minute to go and we'll start the game. I can see a lot of you have joined already. Thank you so much for playing with us. We'll be having 3 winners. Out of the 3 winners, the top winner will be getting the $400 word voucher with us. All right, so I'll do the countdown and we'll start the quiz here in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So quickly to let you know, you have 2 minutes to this game. I have started the timer now and the game has begun. You can check your screen to play the game. You will see different points on different on the wheel. So whichever area you get from the wheel, you will get those points. So make sure that you answer correctly because you get only one chance. And do not refresh your browser as that will refresh your game for you. If you would like, you can have a look at the leaderboard on the Zoom screen as I'm displaying here right now. I can see Dilip Kumar on top right now, followed by Hamze. And yeah, just to let you know, if any of you have played yesterday and won, your winning prize will go to the next one, since everybody has to win. We give everyone a chance to win here. All right, Hamza is on top right now, and Dilip Kumar is following. The rest of you should start following up as well. Okay, Umi, I believe you entered the wrong session ID, which is why you have not seen the game, the spin the wheel. The session ID was 1735. The game that you are seeing on your screen now is the game from yesterday. So very sorry that you couldn't join today, but you can join again on our another session. We have this gamification on all of our sessions and we do sessions monthly. So you can stay connected with us. You can join us again and then you can play together with us. We will be having another session next month on possibly the second week, I believe. So my colleague Anjali will inform you about that soon. Okay, so we are almost out of time here. Let me do the countdown. If you are still playing, do hurry up. Okay, we have a lot of players who are still playing. So let me give you another 1 minute extra so that I can support you in getting this prize. Just a few more seconds and we'll stop this game. I would also request the people playing to leave us your feedback on this game and also on the session. We will share our Trustpilot link as well. Do share us your session takeaways there as well. Okay, so let me do the countdown now in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And that's the end of the game. Thank you so much for playing, everyone. And we have the winners here. Pratiksha, congratulations. Juhi and Dilip Kumar, congratulations to all of you. We can see Pratiksha and Juhi with the same points. However, Pratiksha did faster with more with the higher duration plan. So yeah, congratulations again, Pratiksha, Juhi, and Dilip Kumar for playing this game. Would any of you like to share your takeaways on this game? I will ask you to unmute yourself, and if you can share your takeaways here, that would be amazing. All right, anyone? Oh, yes. Hi, Pratiksha. How was your
Hello.
takeaway?
I really enjoyed the quiz. I actually missed the yesterday's session, but today's session was really good. But yes, I was hoping to attend the agile session more, but definitely quiz was pretty helpful. and I'm glad I was able to answer the questions.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you for joining the session, and it was amazing having all of you. So thank you so much to everyone who played as well. And again, whoever could not join, you can join us again the next time, and we will have another session there. So to close this session, I'll leave it. I'll hand it over to Anjali.
Yes, thank you so much, Setulu. It was very fun learning gamification. So just give me a Yes. So our next webinar session, webinar event is scheduled for 12th of September, same time. So the event name is GSDC Global L&D Webinar 2024. So everyone, please stay connected with us on our socials for more details. And please do follow us on our LinkedIn groups. And please please give us your feedback and session takeaway on the Trust Pilot. And thank you very much, everyone, and stay connected with us for the upcoming sessions on our socials. Thank you.